The time has come. 18 weeks later, This Is Us season finale, and it was an amazing show. We're talking all about Kate's wedding. Jack is alive. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Followed by a moon shining.
All of our heads just go.
Bobbing our heads.
Sway.
I don't even know.
Oh, I wish we had the Mandy Moore rendition, but I love this song. I felt like this is an appropriate way for us to go out, right?
I wish we had Mandy Moore here in studio. That'd be
Oh my
awesome.
God.
I mean, I would literally just be like, I'm obsessed with her. She is amazing. She is everything right now. I love her.
Yeah,
I love her.
dope.
This whole season, guys, this was a wonderful culmination to an amazing emotional roller coaster.
What a journey.
I know, definitely.
I feel like we've been in this program for like 4.5 weeks, and it's like
I'm an
we have to
honorary
go out
Pearson
into the
now.
real world.
I feel like we're going on a break right now. Like, you know, when you're in a relationship and they're like, we need a break. You can't do that to us. We're like emotionally invested.
Yeah,
we
I'm
give
no
a
good
lot
with
of
You can't
blood,
give me a
sweat, and
break.
tears.
No.
Yeah.
And now you want to not talk until September? I
No.
demand a
She's
refill.
upset about this breakup.
Right? I'm the person that's like, okay, and then tomorrow, like, oh, good morning. Like,
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's do this
trying to
again.
respect some boundaries here.
There's no boundaries.
No,
This
there's
is us.
no
We have
break.
no boundaries. What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining us. We are talking all about the season finale. You guys have been in the live chat going crazy, so we're going to talk to you guys shortly as well. My name is Candice Cruz. Thank you for joining us. I'm with my favorite two people on Tuesday night.
You've got Lina, and then we've got...
Keith Andre.
Yeah.
And we miss our Erica. We
Yes.
love you. We saw you in the live chat. I hate that you're not here for the season
Yes, we miss
finale,
you.
I
but
know. It's so weird. This is really the end for now.
I kind of was like, oh my gosh, it's the
depressing.
end. We get a break. And then I'm here and I'm like, no.
I know. I was the same way because they've taken us on this ride. And
Yeah.
It's been a little bit bumpy.
And I really
A little
love-
bit bumpy?
A little bit.
That was a little bit...
I will say,
Understatement.
though, mark my words, I saw a tear shed from this girl right here. Normally, I am the
I
crier.
have a heart.
But
It's there.
we found that out
Deep
last
down.
episode.
It's
18
buried
episodes
deep down
later,
within her.
we found out we have one.
No, I'll tell you something. Every time I watch This Is Us, I try so hard not to cry. I'm like, you give Candice flack every single after show.
So this is why you don't
cannot
cry, so you can't talk
so
shit
then
about
I
me?
go home and I feel like I have this built up like aggression, and then I go to the gym and I'm like running, and then I'm in the sauna and I just start crying. I'm like, oh, Jack's dead.
Well, Jack is not dead in this episode.
But today, actually, you know what got me? And I was talking to Keith about this when you were in the restroom, is because, you know, I've been dealing with anxiety pretty much my whole life.
Yes.
I know how hard it is sometimes when you hold yourself from letting go of emotion. So it was the scene where Kevin was giving this speech and he goes, let's just take a moment, all four of us, and just take a deep breath in and just let it go. And I was like, what are these things coming down my eyes?
What's happening to
what is
my
this water
face?
And I
going
try to
down my
be-
cheeks?
I try to clean it off so quickly so Candice wouldn't notice, and then she turns on and goes, I see you.
Yeah.
Of course.
I tried.
I'm an empath. I feel
Right?
energy. So
I think
don't
it was-
even.
It was really good. I didn't shed a tear, but I felt, you know, sometimes when you feel the cry coming and it builds up in
Yeah.
your chest and then it kind of gets into your throat and then it makes its way out. So I was able to still kind of
You just took
regain
the
my
deep
composure.
breath before
He kept
the
doing
tears
this. He
came
kept
out.
doing this the whole
I
time.
did. There was
kept
a few
doing
moments
this.
where I was just like, oh my
"Dude,
God,
is there
this is stressing
something
me
coming down your face?
This is a little stressed out. But the wedding was so...
Oh.
You guys, what an episode.
I thought it was such a heartwarming episode to be able to end on. You know, we've got so many different predictions about what's going to happen and where the Pearsons are going to go and where this
Yeah.
world is going to take us. But I think it was an amazing relief and like a moment that we could all share of happiness.
Yeah.
Because they've taken us on so many ups and downs with this season with Jack's death and finally seeing that and experiencing that like full throttle and the funeral and then Deja and there's just so many different things that were happening. It was so nice to find, and the miscarriage, like there's been so much that has happened.
Yeah.
To see all of the family come together and to celebrate this amazing day in the best way that they could, you know.
And I think they did a good job with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the episode was it was just structured so well. It was well written. And see, Kay is in the chat, who she wrote the episode last week. She got her credit today as well. And I just feel like the episode really came together. All of the characters had so much life. And like you said, over the course of the season, we've seen them be like super dynamic and like multifaceted. So to see everybody come together for Kate's wedding and to see her keep it together, because I was thinking like at some point this just is not going to happen.
I thought we were going to have a runaway bride.
Right.
The episode took me by surprise. Same thing. I didn't think she was going to take the urn and start talking to her dad, which was honestly, it was so sad and so cute at the same time. But I thought for sure it was done. That's the way they were setting up the storyline. And then Deja, that whole situation just took me by complete surprise, especially all that they gave us last episode, which was so heartwarming. And I was like, oh my God, their family's complete. Deja's a part of it. She's so happy. She wants to go to her bed with the same bat. Like, why not a different bat? You couldn't find a piece of wood? I'm still stuck on the bat that Deja used.
Well, I mean,
That's the bat from when they were a kid.
Listen, she found what she could.
And she took
had
that
to
aggression
let
out.
that anger.
Like full on.
She was not playing.
No,
I just felt
no,
so
no.
bad because they were just saying how, obsessed Randall is like about his car, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Even the one-liner with the, I'm not going to get ice cream in your car. I know you love your car. I
Right.
know you paid cash. That's all they needed to have in the whole episode for all of us to go, not
Right.
the car.
Not the car.
Let's talk a little bit about the wedding and the juxtaposition that they had, because they do such a good job of like doing the old storyline with the new storyline. But what I liked is that it was like this augmented reality for us of what could have been and also what is.
Yeah.
I think it was so nice.
And kudos to you, Candice, because that's what you called it out last week.
Thank you very much.
Candice
Listen,
called out last week.
Candice has been doing y'all, she has really been obsessed
She's
with
on
the
it.
show. A couple months ago, I don't know when it was, but there was this breaking point where things turned, and she just became like a showrunner.
As soon as I get it, I'm like, guys, you're not going to believe what happened. They're here. They're there. They're at South by Southwest right now, just letting you guys know.
Right.
But, not a crazy fan. But I will say...
Well, you didn't know they were on the red carpet in their interviews. I was watching that. And Mandy Moore's hair is short, and now it's lighter. She's clearly on break from the season.
No, she already went to Australia. She just came back for the South by
is fine.
Southwest.
We
Can we
can get
not?
to
We'll
news
get
and
into this
gossip.
later. But anyways, back to the wedding. The wedding. I love weddings. But
She has their itinerary. Did you GPS their vehicles?
can we just continue on with the
Yes.
In
wedding?
regard
Okay, I
to
wanna
the
hear about
wedding
you.
and the juxtaposition of it all, I thought they did a really good job. Because at
Yeah.
first I wasn't as interested. I didn't feel like it was moving like in my head the way
was
it was
moving
moving
slow,
on TV.
yeah.
But it
I thought
made
it was slow.
sense when it got to the point when she was in the car.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
By the time where she got to kind of her realization of why she was dreaming of it this way and the Toby and needing to make room, I was like, oh, wow. Like, perfect package.
And I think that that's so truthful. Like, again, this show is great for truth, because I think anyone that has lost a family member, whether or not it's a parent, on significant big days, whether it's a graduation or a wedding or a birth or whatever it may be, I think you do have this dream or this reality that you create in your head of what could have been if that person was here to share that special day. And I think for her to have that moment in the same location and whatnot, and for her to finally come to that realization that she was holding on to her dad so tight that she couldn't let anyone else in, was so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, I did think, I'm going to agree with Keith on this. Well, lots coming.
Whoa!
We've come
Slow
a long
down.
way.
All we needed was to be on the same side of the table.
That's it.
It's not that I thought it was slow paced. I do think it was slow. It was that I think we were also trying to figure out who was
What-
daydreaming. I feel like they didn't tell us that quick enough. But what I loved is that when they brought it together with the phone call where they're trying to find Kate and she's talking to her mom and she's telling him about the dream, and Rebecca says, well, where was Toby in your dream? And I was like, oh my God.
She's gonna run away.
It was so well put together.
Yes.
Because I was like, at some point, it's not just about the wedding. Because at first, remember, I was asking Keith, well, that's weird. She couldn't be having her wedding on her parents' anniversary. That's just like weird and cryptic in so many different ways. And a for sure way that everyone's going to remember and be upset about the situation.
Right.
So we were trying to make the connection. And at that phone call, I was like, oh my God. That's the connection. And then I
Yeah.
thought, for sure, runaway bride.
Yeah, I did too.
Kate
I was like, oh God, here she
is
goes.
in-
Out of
She's
there.
in that SUV and she's gone. And then I think it was actually then that moment led to another huge moment, which was Kate telling her mother that
Oh my God.
you're not in my way, you are my way. And it's just amazing. Like,
Amen.
the
Finally.
screenwriters, the way they put together the script, because even at points where I'm like, where are they going with this? And then I'm like, aha. Like, you have that moment where
There
you're
were a lot
like,
of
that's
aha
where they're going
moments.
with it.
Yeah, and they're always going somewhere. I really can appreciate that. You know, they do a good job of staying ahead of what they're giving us, and that shows like innovation in television, because a lot of the times today it can be like super predictable, or you know exactly what's going to happen, but they still find a way to like lead us somewhere at the end of the rope. And the evolution of their relationship too, that moment, I was just like, oh my God.
And you know why that moment was important is because Rebecca has a habit, even though I know you guys both agreed that you would both ask, she has a habit of sometimes, you know, speaking a little bit too forward with Kate. So when she asked the Toby thing, I felt like Rebecca had that foot in the mouth moment. And so she had been dwelling on it. She's like, oh my God, what if she overthinks it? So the fact that they had that situation and then they both come together, and she's just like so understanding. She's like, no, Mom, it's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference.
And I don't even think it's Rebecca putting her foot in her mouth. I think it's just a mom and a daughter.
But I'm saying that's how she felt. She
Right,
was like,
right.
oh no, what did I do?
Because I think she always, like, their relationship, I mean, same with my mom. Like, I love her dearly. I know she watches. I love you, Mama. But sometimes, like, whatever she says, like, I'm going to disagree with it just because it's, like, the relationship of a mom and a daughter sometimes. So I feel like it's always, like, walking on eggshells to an extent.
Yeah, and I'm glad though that Kate was able to like alleviate some of those eggshells for Rebecca, because early on in the episode when she was trying to decide what to wear and if this is too flashy, like all this. So I'm glad that she got that out of the way before the wedding, so that Rebecca could really like be herself and enjoy, you know, seeing her daughter get married.
Can we talk about Miguel's statements though? Like, I felt so. This is the first time I felt bad. No. A couple of times I felt bad for Miguel, but like he really, like you could tell how upset he felt at the same time, but he was trying to make Rebecca feel better. Of her saying she was a walking reminder of the fact that her dad wasn't there and that she's the one that they got stuck with. And then Miguel being like, if anyone's a walking reminder of who is not here, it's me. So let's be real. And I was just like, oh.
But I enjoyed Miguel this episode. And did you see at the end the reception where he was dancing with Kate? I was like,
That was so cute. And this scene where when Kevin, we were talking about earlier, gives a speech and they're all breathing out. I love how when they show Rebecca breathing out, they show Miguel kind of like a blurred little, like they make it a point, because I noticed the different angles to show everyone else's reaction. Like they're not showing Toby's reaction to Kate breathing out, but they kind of had Randall. Sorry,
And
not
they showed
Randall.
Beth.
They had Miguel in frame, and I didn't sense any weirdness from him. I didn't sense him being like, oh God, or upset about it. It was almost like he was there for her and her support and releasing that breath.
Yeah.
Wow, did I just say something nice about Miguel?
You did? Oh my God.
You did.
Oh my God.
There are a lot of
18
firsts
after
on
shows
this
in.
one,
It
guys.
took us
People
to
are
get to the
changing.
end to have all the firsts. But I also like the fact that from a writing standpoint is they did make that separation to where, you know, we have this core who are the Pearsons, and then, you know, their spouses, their pairings. But let's take a second for all of us who've been holding on to this all this time.
37
2 seasons we've been dealing with this. Yeah.
Well, they're 37 years old and they lost him in 1998. That means he's been gone for 20 years. Am I doing my math right here? Yes, 20 years. Yes.
Let me
I
ask-
did my math
Ministry.
right.
I was like, that's not my
Let me ask
ministry.
you guys a question. Do you guys, honestly, what were your guys' thoughts on Kevin's speech? You guys thought it was the appropriate place at the right time to have like that intense of a speech? Do you guys agree with all the things he said?
I think here's the thing about both of the speeches. I think they did amazing jobs. However, one thing that I wasn't happy about, and I don't know, maybe this is just like my own feelings of like what I hope is going to not be said at my wedding, but they made it so much about them.
Oh my God, someone literally verbatim at the same exact second goes, am I the only one that thought Kevin's speech was beautiful? But if I was the bride, I wouldn't want to hear about that on my wedding day.
Right. But the thing is like they started making it about themselves first. And I'm like, but why are we making jokes about themselves? Like, this is not about you. And literally they were having a conversation earlier in the car when they were playing worst case scenario of like, am I a bad brother? Am I a bad brother? Did I let my sister down? Well, you're talking about yourself on her day. Let's think about this a little bit. But
Yeah, I mean,
at
that's
the
fair.
end, I liked the full speech, but
Yeah. And for me, I liked both of the speeches. I thought it was appropriate. And I feel like with weddings, like speeches and giving a toast is always something that you can't really prepare for. I've been to a few with like for best friends, and I thought I knew what I was going to say. And then you have a drink and it's like, oh, am I saying too much? I was like,
Then you think
okay,
you're Dr. Phil.
now I'm talking too much. I'm telling too much of the business. Like, let's reel it in and like get us to where it's going. So I get the need to like, you want to pay homage or like give respect to like your relationship with the person, but it's
They're supposed to be cheesy and fun, not this melanated.
Yes.
Did I say that right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my thoughts on it, okay? Kevin's speech was very Kevin. Randall's speech was very Randall.
Right.
Like, it's what you can expect from both. I feel like Kevin's speech started out great. Even though he went straight for the dad, I think at a wedding, people were obviously noticing that they were walking down the aisle. Her dad wasn't there. I think the beginning part where he said Katie girl, and that when he said Katie girl,
Of course.
it warmed my heart, and I was like, is Kevin growing up? Are we going to get
And he
a
said it
great
exactly
speech?
like she
Then I
would
heard
have.
Yeah.
rehab, I heard DUI, I heard so many things that were just not necessary, and I was
Right.
like, okay. I mean, it's Kevin, but I really thought we had a breakthrough in the car when he said that he wishes he didn't always make it about him, where Kate had kind of spent her whole life taking care of him. So I thought the car ride was kind of cathartic in the sense that they released all that. So I'm like, okay, Kevin's going to put Kate first. No. Kevin gives a speech, brings up all the stuff he shouldn't bring up, which I still thought it ended beautifully because it's just leave it to Randall to come save the day after
Clean it up
Randall's
a little
speech.
bit.
Yep.
So I thought
Yeah.
at least that was beautifully put. And honestly, the way Randall said that Toby and her fit
Perfectly. That
and then
that was gonna
Rebecca
get me crying.
gasped and she said yes. Like the way they showed that. And then right when they showed that, it was 10 seconds before that, they cut to the scene where Kate's at the car with her dad. And she's like, Dad, can I marry you? And he's like, no, but you're going to marry someone better than me. I mean, the way they cut scenes is incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
Kudos to the editors too.
Grade A storytelling for sure.
It was just when.
But I don't know Toby being better than Jack, but
Oh,
I'm just
God.
kidding.
I think he's better in his own way.
No,
'Cause
I
think-
love Toby. I think he's honestly the best personality.
I think, and two, they always say that you marry your dad. They always say that you end up like marrying someone that's very similar to your father figure. So I think that in ways, Toby does have that romantic quality that Jack embodied, and does have that like that take care of type of mentality towards Kate, which was a whole big debacle tonight with his parents,
With his parents,
too.
yeah, he had to stand up.
First time we see his parents and they're saying that stuff, I was like, let
but-
me
I
at
don't
him.
blame
But
him.
I
That's his
didn't-
second
I was
marriage,
gonna
and
say,
I've forgotten
too.
about
Yeah.
that.
Me too. When they started to really bring up the position that he was in, as far as you already failed a marriage, you was depressed, you couldn't get it together.
And
like,
from a parent's perspective, like, not gonna lie, I love me some Kate, but
That's
all
what
the
it looks
statements
like.
that they were saying were very true. Like, if we're
They're
looking from the
absolutely
other
true.
side, like, of course, she's too needy. Like, they know that Jack's gone. Like, you can't
There's
use that as a
always
defense
something.
mechanism. You can't say, well, her dad died, 20 years ago.
But they don't know in detail, obviously, that like she blames herself and like all these other
Right,
things that
but
have happened.
that's what they're
since, and
saying.
Her
She's
eating
unstable.
disorder and things like that because of that. So yeah, but from a far glance, I'm sorry, I would say
Yeah, and from-
everything's about this girl.
Yeah.
You're walking on eggshells.
And from any glance, I mean, that's a lot of baggage to take in.
Yeah.
You know, you have to know what you're dealing with. I'm glad that he made the decision for himself that he wants to be with her, but I can't, blame them for, trying to warn him or give him the best advice of what they think would be good for him.
You guys, the way he responded to his parents was so tasteful. It wasn't disrespectful. It wasn't like, get out of my
Yeah,
life,
no.
Yeah.
go home. It was like, this is the woman I'm going to marry. This is who I love. Either go downstairs and decide to get it together and be a part of the wedding, or you can go
Or-
back in the airplane and before you go, can you fix my cufflink?
Just one more thing. Can
You
you
don't want to fix St.
just
Louis.
make sure I look good before you go, please. It's my wedding day. So,
Okay, so everyone
loved
seems
it.
to want to talk about Deja
All right, let's hit some Deja.
because we're running short on time, and that's a lot to talk about because that honestly, that was left field for me.
Go for it.
I was just going to say, at the start of this, we had to kind of figure out where we were from last week. We knew they had this moment where she was back in the household. So at the start, we got to learn that, they had been to court and her mom had said that she wanted to terminate all the parental rights. And
Right.
so Beth and Randall, I guess, are thinking that this is, we're going to give her some room because that's a lot to deal with. And so now male. She's
A
just
lot.
this mean girl.
Right.
And I don't know where to place that.
Here's my take point on Deja, because at that age, I think you feel such a loyalty. I think that's like the only way I can describe it. At that age, you feel such a sense of like loyalty to who you've had in your life.
By the way, she's longer. She's younger than what we think, because someone
she's
had
11.
commented. Yeah, she's 12.
12.
Someone had commented like specifically a scene where they said she was 12.
Right.
That's crazy. 12 years old. Sorry. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, I get it. I've never been in that situation, but I have been, like, through my parents got divorced when I was very, very young, and like coming into a new environment of having new people in your life and new family members and everything. It's a lot to take in at that young of an age, and you feel this immense sense of loyalty that you almost have to defend the people that were in your life, that are your parents or that are so and so. So I can understand where she's coming from, because it's like you gotten these like large emotions. You're at 12 years old. You don't know what the hell to do with them, because this is all new to you. You're starting puberty, and then now you've been ripped out of your family's home, and your mom's literally saying, "I don't want you anymore." She doesn't know the reason why. She doesn't know that she knows that this is better and that she's making a good decision for her mom. All she knows is that Randall and Beth probably said something, and my mom doesn't want me no more.
Like they probably
That's what
convinced
she's
her
thinking.
while they're sleeping or something.
I get that, but at the end of the day, if we've seen the plus sides to the foster system, so
Of
I
course.
get that we should see some bad sides as well. But I feel like for Deja, at the end of the day, this is where you want to be. This is where you're placed. Why act out in that way? I get the defense mechanism thing, but at this point, what are you
think
defending
she's
your
just
mom
angry.
from?
And
I know,
here's
no,
what
I
I
get that
think.
you're just angry, but the way that she's acting out, like, okay, I get attitude. She cursed a little bit, but it's like, okay, girl,
Here's
get
what
it
I think.
together.
Okay. I was thinking about it, and I know some people mentioned in the commentary about the fact that Toby's mom came up and said that comment. I don't think that was anything to be offensive. People say that kind of stuff all the time, like, "Oh, you look like so-and-so," and like nobody looks like anybody. I've had people tell me about my niece and nephew, like, "Oh my God, your kid looks like you." It's not my kid. I mean, I hope they look like me. But anyways, I just think it was like something to say, but I completely understand why it sparked something in her. What I felt like my first impression of what she was doing was she kind of just looked over at Randall and he was smiling. And I feel that she knows how much he loves her. And it's almost like she's going through this motion with her mom abandoning her after how much she gave. Like, Deja gave so much to that woman. At 12 years old, she gave that woman everything. She gave her money. She was selfless with her mother. She wanted to do the closest thing I feel like she could find in that moment to hurt Randall, so Randall stops loving her. Because that's what
It's
she's
almost
like.
like
My
self-mutilation of some sort.
Yeah,
or self.
it's literally like she's
Self-sabotage.
that's what I was looking for. Self-sabotaging, because that's what she felt like from her mother. So she's like, if this woman could leave me, why does this man want to be with me? Because there's so many other things she could have done. She could have made a scene at the wedding. She could have thrown stuff. But to specifically go take a bat to his car, and she knows how he feels about that car. I felt like it was her way of knowing that he loves her and wanting him to stop, because at this point, maybe now that's what she thinks she deserves.
She needs to
is for
punish
people
herself.
not to love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
And I'm
that,
not a psychiatrist.
No, I
I'm
get
just
that.
saying,
I
like, that's what
totally
thought.
get that, though.
yeah, it makes sense, but I just feel I mean, I feel like her narrative would make more sense if it was Beth that she was after, as far as trying to hurt, because you want to, stop the transaction with the mother situation. But you didn't have a father figure in your life. You have connected with Randall. Y'all have this relationship. So why, when you hear this comment, somebody that's
I don't think it has to
comparing
be
versus-
gender specific on this one. I think it's because
Well,
that's the
for
person
me-
that, like...
And she knows how much Randall loves her. I really
No,
believe that
I
she
get that,
knows
but for
Randall's
me,
honed in on her.
yeah, but so the point that I'm making, for me, it would make more sense as a mother figure, because I feel, again, just speaking from my perspective, if I didn't have this in my life, then why would I have such an issue with this? Like, do you think that if the comment was, "Oh, you girls look just like your dad, but you look just like your mom," that she would have the same reaction? Or is it because of
I think it's...
Randall?
I think it's because it's Randall.
I think
because
it's just
Right.
she doesn't have
That's
that
my
connection
point.
with Beth at all.
Exactly.
So I think, like, the fact that it's almost like Randall is replacing her mom to me. So, like, I'm going to if someone's trying to replace somebody in my life, whoever it may be, I'm going to get pissed off. Don't mess with me. Don't, like, replace someone. Like, her mom is still so important. I think that she almost feels like they're trying to push the mom idea out of the way. because they're just trying to love her and like nurture her. So on the same token, she could also feel like, well, why are you like pushing my mom out? Why aren't we talking about my mom? Why aren't we doing this?
Yeah.
And Randall's the person that's like taking the most.
You guys,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
and what's
Yeah.
crazy because we're talking about why she reacted that way towards Randall and not towards Beth. Beth also comes from an upbringing where they brought her cousin in,
Yeah.
and pretty much raised her. And in the same situation, you know, they dealt with a girl that was lashing out, didn't feel loved, treated them poorly. How beautiful that from two people that experienced two different things, where Randall also felt like he got, you know, certain treatment from Kevin. I mean, he got great treatment from Rebecca and Jack, but almost maybe even the good treatment made him feel a certain way. It didn't make him feel normal. Like he didn't feel like everyone else. So the fact that they both come from that kind of an upbringing and then wanted to give Deja an opportunity to a great life, and it's just so sad that it's really sad actually.
Yeah,
This is the first
it's
time
Like,
we
where
even
does it go
heard-
from here?
and I think
Like, how do
that
you even deal with this?
it's a learning experience, I think, for her, you know, as she grows and develops into a person. I think it'll be a moment that's defining for who she is and that she will regret once she kind of comes to term with it.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting, like you said, to really see. Like, I have no idea what to expect for season 3.
I don't either.
I don't know
I'm,
where
like,
we go. I don't know how we
completely-
get there. We got these future scenes, which I do appreciate. I like being able to see into the future, but I'm like, Lord.
Can I just say I was right that Sophie and
Here we
Kevin
go.
are not going to end up together? Just saying. I did
You
say
guys,
this
but how great-
multiple episodes ago.
How
You are
great
the only
Kevin and,
person who said
Kevin and Beth's cousin. What was Beth's cousin
Zoe.
name? Zoe.
Yes.
First of all, she's freaking
Gorgeous.
stunning.
Yeah,
That
she's
glowy,
beautiful.
Oh, love
the
her.
glowy skin and highlight on her is just amazing. The fact that she said she was waiting for a good speech, and here comes Kevin with the worst speech of the year. It was almost like she was mocking him, right? Because there's no way she thought that was a good
No.
speech.
I think she appreciated. I thought it was a good speech too.
Kevin?
It was a good speech.
It wasn't
You
a
need to
terrible
go
speech. It
back
was just
and
Throw out
a
the
little bit
DUI
unnecessary.
and it
It was
was
a little
great.
bit out of place. Some of the stuff he said.
I thought it was fine.
He talked about a DUI.
He's talking
Rehab.
about his experience.
Anyways, okay, so whatever weird way it started, I think they're so cute. And I just love the fact that it's Beth's cousin. Because you know that's Beth's worst nightmare right now. She's probably like, oh no, Kevin's in my life, double take.
I think she'll
Well,
be
she
okay
even
with it.
wait a second. Cousin even said when she showed up, Beth was like, "Thanks so much for doing this." She's like, "You know, any family of yours is a family of mine." Oh,
I know, right?
anyone else get that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
thank
heard,
you. All right.
I don't think she meant
I
Kevin.
think I just got more excited
I think
about it.
she's
Yeah,
reaching
she
on
just
that
meant
one.
I'm doing a favor, but
Yeah.
then when she found Kevin, things got a little shifty. But one thing that I do appreciate is so we got to see Toby's family and we got to see
Yes.
a little bit of Beth's family.
A little bit,
And
but
it's
we still don't know
very
anything
little.
about Beth's mom.
Yeah,
We need
hopefully
to
it's
know
going to
about
open the
Beth.
door to more.
I think we're going to, especially now that her,
her
cousin's
cousin
involved.
is involved. Yeah, but I like them together. I want to see
They're
them.
good
too.
dynamic.
Yeah.
I like them. I
think
like
it's
them a lot.
fun,
It's
too.
fun. Oh my God. There's so much going on in the chat. You guys are amazing, and I'm like going to let you guys keep going. But it's a ball in there.
No, there's
I
no
love
Sophie. We gotta let Sophie.
Okay, so
Sophie's
do we-
gone. Bye, Sophie.
Allegedly. So do we want to talk about the?
Everybody's wanting the door shut on her. I
Want to
agree.
talk about the immediate future stuff and then like the distant future, or because that's what they're trying to figure out in the chat. They're talking about some of the things that are more immediate. Future.
All right. So immediate future would be
Well, let's go through the
Them on the
flashes of what we
plane.
saw.
so we
let's
saw
go
3
one by one.
flashes for all the big 3.
Okay, let's start with the first one.
Kate and Toby.
And
Yes.
he's sick.
And
Depressed.
he's
He
sick.
looks-
I don't know if it's depressed, but he's not speaking. What if he had a stroke? It could not be depression. It could be something else.
Because remember he said he had a heart attack. Maybe he
It
had
could
another
be-
one.
I only say depression because his parents did make mention that he was
True.
depressed before, so it kind of looked like that. But we see Toby in this condition, and we know she got a phone call from the doctors about changing
the meds.
And was
meds.
she in a robe or was she in a blue dress? I couldn't figure out if it was a silk robe or a silk dress.
I could.
I don't
I don't
even
know. I wasn't paying that much attention.
No, because it's like maybe she came from a wedding because something happened. Like I'm
Makes
trying to
sense.
figure out. There's got to be something important about that moment that's the flash that you're going to give us for her big 3 moment.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm sure we'll find out. And I'm wondering if, like, I was hoping I would hear like a baby crying in the back, but I don't know if there's a baby in the future either.
Yeah, and it could be too soon. We don't know
We don't know
how
if it's, like,
long we are into
this
the
is-
future.
And they
yeah.
said they did say for better or for worse.
Well,
So
that's
we're
what you
about to see
typically
what
say at a
all
wedding.
So we're about to see for worse
That's
for
nothing
sure.
different
It
than any
means
other
nothing.
wedding, you know.
Okay, so what's
But
our,
that was them.
what do we think that means? Did we figure that out? So you're saying it's depression.
Yeah, I think he's depressed. Why is he depressed though?
I think it's probably heart attack related.
I think it's a stroke.
Jeez. So in this edition of Worst Case Scenario.
Wait, let's keep doing all the big three, and then we'll do worst case scenario.
Worst case,
hold on.
Toby's depressed.
Hold on.
Because
Hold on.
No, Toby's depressed because he had an affair with Sophie, and Kevin found out and started dating Zoe. That's
You're just
worst
getting
case.
ridiculous.
Right.
All right, now we
So
got
that's Kate
Kevin.
and Toby. We'll go to Kevin and Zoe. Because theirs still semes pretty immediate. They're on a plane to Vietnam.
And he's holding his dad's photo. So we're
He's gonna go
finally going to
research.
find out about Jack.
Yes.
He's gonna go find out about
And
his
more
dad.
of his
and going to
life.
Vietnam.
And his
So.
experience in a war.
And I think that that's going to be like he even made mention in the speech where he was talking about like having to let go. It's like taking a breath in and never letting go. I think he's finally at that point, like years later, of learning how to finally grieve about Jack's death. And I think that this is part of his, like, you know, Kate did the urn and passed that along, and then Randall went and found his birth father and dealt with that and dealt with all of the talks about like the two fathers. And now I think Kevin's finally going to get to have his place where he gets to like
And I think
grieve.
I think that's going to be the opening of season 3. I think they literally probably hook up that night of the wedding.
Yeah.
Because that's Kevin for you.
And that's a lot of people at weddings.
Well, I'm saying, like, you know, Kevin.
So Kevin has
That's it.
changed. I want to give Kevin
His due diligence.
What do you mean?
Yes.
She's a great catch. At least he's not with the
His
maid of
due
honor. I mean, who knows?
diligence.
It's still early. It could be
Oh
the
my
maid of
gosh,
honor.
I
And
forgot
then Zoe
about
could
her.
be later. But I definitely think opening of season 3, they're going to give us into, like, start divulging into Jack's history, which I think it's great. And I think it's appropriate that Kevin's going to be the one to do it because, as we said, he went through a lot this season.
Yeah.
Maybe we see him take a change for the better.
Yeah, I think it'll be good to see him go on some type of adventure that's like outside of like himself and all this destruction, and then seeing, you know, him with the photograph as well. We remember that Zoe is a photographer, so you know it gives us
that's
a lot of
right.
room
Yeah.
to see like what can happen here. So I'm excited about that.
And Randall, we didn't get any immediate future for
Right.
Randall. We got Randall,
Which is
and
the second
Tess.
time we get this
Second
way
time.
future glimpse into.
And I know I saw in the chat before we even came in when he said, "Are you ready to go see her?" And she said, and Tess said no, or
Yeah.
"I'm not ready," or something like that. People are trying to figure out: is it Deja in jail?
Okay.
Is it Deja that's passed away? Something's happened to her, traumatic, or
Or-
is it Beth
Or Annie.
or Annie?
I
But
think-
I
I've
don't
seen
think
a few
Annie.
people
I
think
more,
Annie, but yeah.
I
I
think
think
more
it's
Beth or
the
Deja.
mom that's either literally in a coma or in some kind of like. No, I'm being serious.
Well, let's go to worst case scenario here. Go, go,
Clearly,
Lina.
that's-
Worst case scenario.
Why are you trying to make me feel bad? I'm trying to.
I'm not going
I'm trying to give my.
worst case scenario.
Worst
She's
case
in a
scenario.
coma.
It was something that made them so distraught.
Right.
I'm not saying that Deja being in jail or not being in jail wouldn't make them distraught, but to me, the way Randall in that scene was crying, or like his eyes were so red and the emotional state, it's got to be something that I think doesn't involve. It would be too easy, I feel like, if they gave us Deja hitting a baseball bat on a car and then it's her in jail. I think it's Beth.
I don't think that.
They like to throw us for a loop. They never give us what we think we're gonna get.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I don't think it's too far off. For me, I felt that they were more angry than they were emotional or upset. So I don't feel that it's a coma or like a medical condition. I think it would line up if it was.
And they're at showing Tess's job, working
Right.
as a foster, like someone within the foster system. So
System.
I think that it makes all like one big loop together
For it to-
for her to be there and to do that job, and for him to go visit her at that job, and I just think that makes.
Yeah, and especially because you know, in their worst case scenario, Beth and Randall, it's like worst case scenario, Deja ends up broken and in jail. So
Or something could have happened and she's dying, or something happened to her too. Because
But there's
I mean,
a
she
huge
could
gap
be,
in the timeline, though. We're talking about from her being 12 to her being.
she's older than Tess, so she would have been, because Tess is 25 in this shot, so she'd probably be about 30.
yeah,
Or close to 30,
Somewhere
28 to
along there.
30.
I just feel like This Is Us always throws me, the screenwriters, for a loop. What I think it is, it never really is. So I'm just going to say what everyone thinks it is, which is that it has to do with her, and I'm going to think that it's Beth is sick.
Okay.
Beth is sick or in some kind of state, and they have to make a decision, and that's why she doesn't want to see her.
cool. You are entitled to your prediction.
Worst case scenario, mine is that Deja's either severely hurt.
So I'm not
or
the only person that thinks that, too.
You think Beth has cancer or has passed away? Okay, all right.
That's just a lot.
That's worst case scenario right there.
They're older, though.
No, I get they're older, but you have to keep in mind like the context of like what was going on.
No, and that would bring back in exactly. And I feel like every time they've given us, like we thought
For
Kate was
me
gonna
to
run
say-
for it. We thought that
And also,
Jack
Randall
was
looks a
gonna die
little
in the
old
house.
right
He didn't
there.
die in the house.
Randall looks
Because-
very old
Because what, Tess is like 7 or 8, right?
now.
Maybe 9. They're 37, meaning they had her at like 28, 29, or 30 years old, meaning 25 years old, like he's only in his 50s and he looks really old.
Yeah, and black
Just-
people never look that old.
No, I'm just saying.
That old.
Like,
Oh my God,
I don't
Melanated
know,
said
but-
worst case, Deja did something to Beth.
oh my God.
That is literally playing
Oh,
the game.
They did play the worst
That
case
is a
scenario
good
and
one.
thinking about that. Oh God.
That
Oh
they would
no.
yeah. I don't think Beth has. I'm not gonna give y'all that Beth has cancer. Like, why would they say I'm not ready to face her and she's in the bed with cancer? No, context. My worst case scenario is that Deja has done something.
I think so too. Okay, worst case scenario with any of the other ones. What's worst case scenario for Toby and Kate?
No, this is terrible. Why are we playing this game?
Because
This is
it's
a
part of the
terrible
show.
game.
It's important. Worst case scenario, Toby and Kate, that they're getting divorced, and that's why he's depressed.
I think worst case scenario, he's had a stroke. They can't have children and they're infertile, and then she's trying to take care of him and basically taking care of everyone like she always does.
Okay.
I can't do it. I can't let my mind go there, but I do think it has to do with Beth. And actually, there's quite a few people since then that have agreed. It's because my feeling with This Is Us, right, is that every time they've written the script, and I just said this a few minutes ago, everything that they make us think, the way they set the tone.
Okay, I see
it's
where they're
been
going
out
with
of
it.
context. Jack didn't die in the house.
Toby
we all thought he
dies?
did. What? Toby
Someone said
dies?
Toby
Oh my God.
dies.
That's their
Jack-
worst case. Okay.
Yeah,
Jack
okay.
didn't die in the house, even though everything pointed towards Jack dying in the house. Number 2, we all thought Kate was running for it. She didn't. If anything, she was the happiest-go-lucky bride for her father not being at her wedding that could have been. She actually had a catharsis, let her dad's urn out, put his remains where they used to sit on the piece of, what is that thing called? The piece of
A stoop.
a stoop?
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Stump.
Stump, whatever it's called. So if anything, I feel like everything they want us to think is never what they give us. So I will say, and I'm going to reaffirm, and I'm not going to go into that other worst case. It's Beth, but she's not, doesn't have cancer. She's in a state of like letting go, like a vegetative state or something where she's not able, and that's why they have like apprehensive about going to see her.
I don't want to cry right now.
I'm done with this game.
And I feel like that would
Wait, worst case scenario for Kevin.
but
We don't
her
have
whole-
one.
She didn't want to do it. She said her mind couldn't go there, but she could go there
Kevin?
for Beth to be in this vegetative
Worst case
state.
scenario with Kevin.
Oh,
Is there a worst case scenario
I
for
know,
Kevin
it's
right
like
now? I
he's
feel like he's really happy.
The plane
He's doing
goes
great.
down and
Oh,
him
good.
and Zoe die. I mean, you want me to go there, so I'll tell you. The
That's
plane
worst
goes down.
case.
But then we'll never find anything about
That's
Jack, so we
worst
know that that's
case.
not accurate.
well, we'll see. I mean,
They love Jack. They're not going to let us not know anything more about Jack.
the good news is that we'll be able to come back and watch this and see like how wrong or how right we are.
You know what? I have to say, though, my track record's been pretty good this
Oh
season.
my God.
Right, guys? Right? Yes, you agree? Okay, I don't know.
It has. It has.
I don't want to make Beth the vegetable. Now everybody's making me feel bad. We were just talking about
Don't
what
make
our
Beth
initial
a
thoughts.
You
Vegetable.
said. That's what you said.
But okay, let's be fair though. Honestly, let's be fair. Toby is too new for us to be on board with Team Kate and Toby, right? But we're all so
Wait,
invested.
what? He's been around since the beginning.
He's been around, but them being married. But we're all so invested. Are we not invested the most? And the next relationship would be Randall and Beth. Randall, Beth, to me, after Jack and Rebecca. Let me finish my thought, damn it.
Go ahead.
Oh,
we
what?
heard the thought. The thought
Shots
again.
fired.
No, so I'm saying by making something happen to them where there's a chance of losing one of them,
Right.
that would take us to the next level in the next relationship.
What
where
about
there
if
is a
Rebecca's
potential loss.
dying?
I was gonna say, where's Rebecca?
Where's
We
Rebecca in
haven't-
all of this?
We haven't seen her in any of the flash.
What if
forwards.
Rebecca is dead? That would make more sense too. Just saying. If we're talking timelines and ages and all that other stuff, like if Randall's 55, how old is Rebecca now?
Listen, I hope they all
She
live,
gonna be in her 80s at
Yeah.
least.
I hope they all live a long, happy, healthy life, but that would not make for television. So there would not be a season 3, 4, and 5 of This Is Us.
Right. I'm more interested in the stories than I am at the timelines of trying to like piece it together and make it make sense.
Yeah, true.
For me, this is like so outlandish. Worst case scenario is not a good game to play.
No, I don't like that game. I
don't
don't like that
play
game.
again.
I don't know why Randall and Beth play that game. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. She would be dead. Someone said, "Okay, I'm done with death. I've already had one big
You guys,
death
this
this
is, like,
year.
depressing. I'm gonna
I
have
can't
nightmares
handle it
tonight."
anymore."
Yeah, let's move
Let's
forward.
talk about like news and gossip. Does anyone have any news? Because I know we had some stuff happen this
For
weekend.
sure.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, news and gossip. Y'all know Sterling K. Brown did Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
He did great. The opening monologue, it, kept throwing jabs at, This Is Us, how it's, super emotional. So he kept, trying to talk about this experience and then, getting sad and, doing the tears thing. And
I love him.
He had a few
He's good
other
at the
bits.
tears thing.
Yeah, he had a few other bits, one from, Black Panther, and then there was another one called, Dr. Love. So it had a good night for him, and he was super excited. There was, a post on Instagram with Susan, who plays Beth. She was there. A few other people, supporting him.
Oh, I love that.
Me too.
Also, can we throw back, since there was one line in that show that I forgot to mention. When he said redonkulous, I just loved it. Just saying it. Such a Sterling and Randall thing.
Yes, for sure.
And then they were on their red carpet today on E! News. I saw that Mandy Moore said that they're back in September, which I'm sure everybody knew. And then she was recommending that everybody goes back and watches
everything. The whole
season
I can't.
all over again.
I can't.
Which is a bit much. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I would already overanalyze the overanalyzing of the analyzation of the analyzation. So I think watching it once through, I probably will watch the last couple episodes before I watch it again. And then Milo, honestly, the way this guy speaks, he just, have you guys heard him on the carpet? The way he answers questions.
I'm transfixed whenever he speaks. I just listen.
Yeah.
He's Milo.
Yeah.
Well, no, Milo. That doesn't sound right. Milo is Jack. They're actually their personalities are so similar. And I told you guys that when I met Chris Sullivan, he's literally Toby. The same jokester personality.
If you really look at a lot of TV and movie stars, they play themselves
Versions
because
of themselves.
ultimately you can't play a fictitious, you're always going to have an essence of yourself whenever you're playing anything. That's just acting 101.
Okay.
Just saying.
Teach the course. Yes.
Thank you, Anthony Mack. All of those acting teachers out there, all of them, I love them all.
We all know it. You have to take the layers off.
Take the layers off. And you have to be
on.
completely vulnerable. And I think that that's what they do such an amazing job. And South by Southwest, I believe that there's a couple other things that you can pull up online. That's where Mandy Moore and Milo and Justin and Dan Fogelman are all at South by Southwest doing different speaking engagements about This Is Us. So go and check that out. I'm sure that there's a bunch of videos online about Dan Fogelman speaking as well, because he's pretty much the man, the myth, the legend.
It is indeed.
All of it. So
You guys, what a season.
What?
Where do they come up with this stuff from? What a season.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh yeah. But I'm so excited, and thank you guys so much for being such an amazing support system. I think we've all leaned on each other's shoulders.
It has been a journey.
You're very welcome for making fun of you for crying every single episode.
It's fine. It's
Candice
fine,
gets
guys.
a break from crying.
I do get a break from crying for a little bit, but I do love This Is Us. And for all of you guys that are going to be missing us on This Is Us after show, if you want to have fun and learn and grow in all areas of life, we have a podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder, Maria Menounos, and drops every Friday on iTunes. It's not Tuesday, it's Friday, but you know what? We love her. And we love this show. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of your life, from health and wellness to career and relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria be a big sister you never had. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. And be sure to rate and comment. And when you do, let Maria know it was us who got you there. So Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition. Go check it out, guys. So we won't be here, but Maria will always be there for you.
Yes.
And I'm sure she will have amazing conversations for you.
I'm excited. I'm going to check it out.
Me too.
I've already subscribed and it's great.
Nice.
I love it. And I love Maria and I love all of you guys. I love you both, and I'm going to miss seeing you.
I love you.
I'm
And
going
I
to start
love
crying.
I love you
And I
both
miss
too.
Shannon. I'm sorry, Erica. I keep
Erica.
calling her Shannon.
She always
I
calls her
miss-
by last name.
I know. I miss Erica, and I love everybody in the chat. Even though not everybody
Yes.
always agrees with everything
Yes.
we say.
It's the best experience.
It is
ever.
honestly
the best chat ever. I've never seen people that are so engaged. And honestly, sometimes I go back and I read the comments and I'm like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, I wish I would've said that.
Exactly.
I love the fandom of this show. I think you guys have honestly made this after show what it is. Like, we could not do this without you guys, for watching it, for being here every week, for having commentary with us, just supporting us in our love of this show, because we know you love it too. And that's, I feel like I'm like saying my goodbye speech.
And we'll be back in September.
So,
And maybe Erica will be back then. September.
there you go, girl. Fingers crossed. But
Everyone's gonna be
again,
like, Erica's back. She's like, what?
she's back. And they're back. But thank you guys again so much for joining us on this wild and crazy journey of This Is Us Season 2. Again, my name is Candice Cruz. Please go and follow me on all my social media at Candice R. Cruz. Keep the conversation alive because you know I love me some This Is Us. So we got 6 months of no shows, so we got to keep the magic going.
Listen, 6 months is gonna fly by. And I'm Lina Noory. You can find me at Lina Noory all over the internet. And thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm so glad that Keith and I finally agreed on something today.
I know. I'm telling you, this has
And
been
we complimented Miguel.
we did
What?
growth. This journey has been about growth and progress.
Yes.
I'm Keith Andre. You can follow me on all social media at Keith_Andre. And check me out Thursday, 10 p.m. We'll be here for the premiere for the people.
Yay, excited
Oh,
for that
I
new
can't
show
wait.
too.
Show, yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I just interviewed the cast. They're awesome.
Oh, we gotta chat about it then.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
All right. Well, we love you guys. Be sure to subscribe and follow AfterBuzz TV and comment below. And be sure to go and find some other shows while we are gone and enjoy. And we'll see you next time.
We love you guys.
Love you.
Later.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.